a barrel roll.
Hey, welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Meg Turney.
We're back from E3, everybody. Oh, that was a long week.
Yeah.
That was a good time, though, and we're just in time to cover a good old-fashioned platform war.
Oh, yeah.
Just what you want when you come back from E3.
In the midst of Sony and Microsoft taking very subtle shots at one another about the upcoming Neo and Scorpio consoles, welcome to 2004, there was another war brewing at E3, only this time it was over virtual reality exclusives.
Platform war never changes. Although maybe, now it might actually be changing a little bit. Over the weekend, Gabe Newell himself announced that Valve will now be funding any VR developers that need some extra cash in order to keep them from taking exclusivity deals.
More surprising than that, Lord Gaben himself said that even if developers take money from Valve, they could still choose whatever platform is right for them with no strings attached.
No, this did not come in some big press conference at E3 or in an interview at the show with Jeff Keighley, anywhere that you'd expect a big announcement to take place. It actually came in an email exchange with Redditor El Pollo Diablo 187. You know, the guy you go to anytime you have a huge initiative to announce.
Absolutely. He's the new Shinobi. In that email, which has now been posted over at the Vive subreddit, Lord Gaben said, "We don't think exclusives are a good idea for customers or developers."
He went on to add, "We're in a much better position to absorb financial risk than a new VR developer, so we're happy to offset that by giving the developers funds, essentially prepaid Steam revenue. However, there are no strings attached to those funds. They can develop for the Rift or PlayStation VR or whatever the developers think are the right target VR systems."
Basically, Valve wants to give developers free money to not take funds from Sony or Oculus and to avoid any exclusive deals that come along with that sweet cash.
Santa Claus gave in. It's certainly an interesting approach to winning a platform war rather than buying up their own exclusive, which is how most companies respond to this kind of thing, hence consoles. Valve is instead providing funds to keep VR as open as possible.
This email exchange comes on the heels of some VR exclusivity controversy from where else E3 last week.
After a number of virtual reality games in recent months have suddenly changed allegiance to become timed Oculus exclusives, early adopters were kind of pissed off to find out that Giant Cop, which was originally announced for Vive, is now going to be yet another timed Rift exclusive.
Quite a few angry Reddit threads popped up in response, but
they all made that face.
Yeah. But one in particular came the center of this whole ordeal.
In a thread titled "Fuck Facebook and Fuck Oculus," in case you weren't sure how the OP felt about it, where Redditors were expressing their feelings about exclusivity, one member of Crow Team, the developers behind Serious Sam, offered some comments about his company's experience with Oculus for their upcoming VR title, The Last Hope.
3D environment artist Mario Kotler, who was posting as Eagle Shadow, very nice name there, said they tried to buy Serious Sam VR as well. It wasn't easy, but we turned down a shit ton of money as we believe that truly good games will sell by themselves and make profit in the long run regardless. And also because we hate exclusives as much as you do.
And then came the corporate hand slapping. Neither Crow Team nor Oculus were too happy about this comment, so both of them jumped into the fray as well.
Why not? Crow Team's CTO, Alan Ladovic, tried to offer some clarification about Kotler's comments, stating, quote, "Oculus did approach us with an offer to help fund the completion of Serious Sam VR The Last Hope in exchange for launching first on the Oculus Store and keeping it time-limited exclusive."
He went on to say, "At no time did Oculus ask for or did we discuss total exclusivity or buyout of support from Vive. We looked forward to supporting Rift and Vive."
But still, because it was a timed exclusive, it still would have pissed people off, so I still understand what the other dude was saying. Anyway, of course, because he loves to say stuff on Reddit, Oculus founder Palmer Luckey chimed in too. It's so great that people take to Reddit now to just say how they feel.
It's what they do. Or they just email El Pollo Diablo.
In a separate Reddit thread titled, "Don't buy Oculus Rift if you don't support console tactics on PC platforms," Lucky added that the company is trying to get exclusive games, but that Oculus is still an open platform.
Lucky said, "What we are doing is working with external devs to make VR games. These are games that have been 100% funded by Oculus from the start, co-designed and co-developed by our own internal game dev teams. The majority of these games would not even exist were we not funding them."
So even though that might not have been the case with Serious Sam or Crow Team, Oculus is going to keep pumping money into VR development for their own exclusives, whether people like it or not. So suck it. And you know what? They've got pretty deep pockets to keep doing so, thanks to Facebook.
But Valve's actually got some pretty deep pockets too, which is why they're now throwing money at people to keep them from going exclusive.
The people's champ. While exclusives are nothing new, of course, to console gamers, virtual reality does seem to kind of fall in its own moral gray area. Many PC gamers view headsets as peripherals rather than a platform unto themselves. For them, it's like making certain games exclusive to a monitor.
And when you put it like that, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but Oculus views the Rift as a platform, which is why they're trying to bolster it with exclusive content, which is kind of funny considering the comments that Palmer Luckey's made in the past about wanting VR to be as open as possible. How times change.
Silly man. However, that tune, again, has changed once more. Over the last couple of months, they've gone out of their way to make sure their platform has had as many true exclusives as possible, even though they originally said that Oculus exclusives would be exclusive to their store, but still playable on other devices.
Yeah, part of that desire was to help ensure the growth of VR as a platform. Many have argued that exclusives limit the medium and keep its user base from spreading, but really, Valve kind of seems like the only ones really committed to that at this point. They're not going for the exclusives. They just want it as open as possible with as many developers working on it as possible.
They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're not only trying to fight against Oculus exclusivity, but Sony as well, because Gabe Newell had more to say about all this.
Yeah, which may be a way bigger fight, considering how many IPs and options that Sony has at its disposal. They've got entire studios dedicated to VR now. Just the revelation of Resident Evil 7 for VR could be enough to swing a lot of people who've been trying to decide which headset to spring for, where they want to go. Resident Evil 7. If you don't like your heart, you want a heart attack? There you go.
I want it so bad. On the surface, it certainly looks like this is a total good guy Valve move, the people's champ. But do keep in mind that Valve has just as much reason to want people to play on their platform as opposed to anybody else's.
Yeah, they pay a lot of lip service to making PC gaming better, but even Newell has admitted in the past that they've ensured that what's good for PC gaming is good for Valve. For Valve, it's less about Vive probably and more about Steam as a whole and maintaining the dominance of PC gaming.
Right. It's not likely that this program of VR funding is going to be completely no strings attached. Newell himself even said that it's almost like prepaid Steam loans here. Developers will probably have to pay the money back once their game is put up on Steam.
And it's not like they won't have their own share of exclusives as well. Already last week we got the announcement of Fallout 4 VR coming to Vive, and considering that Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax is currently involved with a lawsuit with Oculus and Facebook, I don't know if we're going to see that one on the Rift anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not. Regardless, it does sound like the platform exclusivity war for VR is just starting, kids. It's time to pick a side and kill your neighbors.
No, don't do that. Don't kill anybody.
In virtual reality, of course.
But as long as it's not like Sword Art Online and everybody dies.
Right.
Right.
No.
As long as it's not like that.
You have to have a PK. You have to agree to a duel. Those are the rules.
Only.
Those are the rules of Sword Art.
All right. What do you guys think of all this commotion over VR exclusives? Is it no big deal, or is it kind of more foul play from Oculus? Let us know in the comments.
For future VR news and all Lord Game and Zevo exchanges, like this video, subscribe to the now.
We got the goods on his servers.
What? He's got so many goods on my servers.
Gross.
Just over the weekend, Gabe Newell himself announced that Vil
3D environment artist Mario Kotler, also posting as Ego Shadow. Yeah.